Hi everyone, this is teacher Justina and welcome back to my channel. If you are still new, then do not forget to subscribe, like, and share for more video updates. Our topic for this video is all about division of polynomials. Okay, so in division of polynomials, we are going to recall the different laws of exponents that are needed. So we have the first law we have if we are going to divide common bases. So we have the x and the x here. Thus we simply subtract their exponents. So that is represented by this general form x to the power of m minus n. And the next is uh, if it is more than one base, so we simply apply the same concept. Again, they are common. So x is common there. So we just simply subtract again the m minus n as their exponents. Then the y as a base is common. Then we just simply still subtract their exponents. So let us start with division of monomial by another monomial. So let us have this. Number one. So as you have seen, the 35 and 7 are both constants. So as usual, if we are going to divide whole numbers, we simply divide 35 by 7 and it will gives us 5. And then as we have in the first law of exponents that is needed in division of polynomials is we just simply subtract 5 minus 2 because common base v. And then to further simplify, we have their 5v to the power of 3. Example number 2, we have their negative 100 t to the fifth r cubed divided by 20 t cubed r squared. So again, the 120 are both constants, and remember the law of sign. If we are dividing different signs, we just simply have a negative. So 100 divided by 20 is 5. And since negative and positive, they have different signs, thus it's negative. And then the t to the power of 5 minus 3, and then the r to the power of 3 minus 2. And then its final answer is negative 5t. 5 minus 3 is 2, and 3 minus 2 is 1. Actually, we can also write this as negative 5t square r because it is already understood that there is an imaginary one. Okay, so let us start with division of binomial by monomial. So this time, our dividend is a binomial and our divisor is, so again, this is our dividend and our divisor is a monomial. Okay, let us have this, number 3. So far, we are going to divide 25c to the 4m to the 6 minus 15c to the 10m to the 7. And in our denominator, we are having two terms, and this is overall 5cm. So since there are two terms, we can write them in this form. So 25c to the 4m to the 6 uh, over 5cm. And then since there are two terms, then we can have the second term as 15c to the 10m to the 7 over 5cm. So therefore, in this case, we can now divide both constants 25 and 5. It gives us a 5, then c to the 4 minus c, it gives us c cubed, and then m to the 6 divided by m will gives us a 5. And then our second term, this one, our second term, 15 by 5 is 3, and since there is a negative in there, so it's minus 3c to the power of 9 because there is a 1 there, and 7 minus 1 is 6. So what will happen if we are going to divide a trinomial by monomial? So this time we are having three terms already in our as our dividend and with a divisor of one term. Okay, so far we have 1, 2, and 3. So there are three terms. So trinomial, a trinomial numerator, and a monomial denominator. So as what we did in number 3, we can write each term over negative 3y squared separately. So we have this, the 48y to the power of 5 over negative 3y squared, and then minus, so we followed it, and then our divisor is negative 3y squared, and then a plus, so it's a plus in here, and our divisor is negative 3y squared. So for that, we simply divide both constants, 48 by negative 3. It will gives us negative 16. So negative 16 y cubed, because y to the power of 5 divided by y squared, it gives us y cubed. And then the second term is a negative 12 divided by negative 3. You just consider the negative here as a sign of 12. So negative divided by negative, it will gives us a positive, and 12 by 3, it gives us a quotient of 4, and then y squared, because 4 minus 2, and then a positive divided by negative, it gives us a negative, and then 24 by 3 is 8, y cubed divided by y squared is equal to 1. Okay, so let us now proceed. This time, what will happen if our divisor is already composed of a binomial? So it will be very easy to get the quotient of a polynomial by a monomial, because we just simply apply the laws of exponents. But what will happen, or how do we get the quotient if we are having already a binomial divisor? So we will be using the long method instead. So what is the long method all about? So the long division says that we have to see to it if our given is already on its decreasing order. So when we say decreasing order, we'll be arranging the exponent from highest to lowest. So as you have seen, we have here a 3, a 2, and then x has a 1 there. So meaning if they are already listed in descending manner, then we can write it in here. So therefore, as what we did in a long division, in a pure whole numbers, then we do it in here. How to find the quotient in finding uh, the quotient of a polynomial by binomial. So first, we are going to divide this first term by the first term in the divisor. Again, first term of our dividend divided by the first term of our divisor. So, what do you mean by this? So, it is simply x cubed divided by x in here. So, of course, we'll get an x squared. And where should we place the x squared? So, the x squared will be placed above the x cubed. And then after which, if you are done getting the quotient of x cubed divided by x, the x squared will be now distributed to the divisor. X squared will be multiplied to x, and that will gives us x cubed. And then, as I've said, we are going to distribute this x squared to the two terms. So we are done with x squared times x. Thus, we are going to multiply x squared times negative 1. And that is negative x squared. Next step is we are going to subtract them. So when we say subtract, remember the law of subtraction of polynomials. We simply change the sign of the subtrahend. Remember, this is our minuend. If we will be going to subtract them, and this part is said to be our subtrahend. So if this is our subtrahend, our x cube is originally positive. Thus, we have to change it into negative. And that negative is already our new sign. And our negative x squared, that negative will be changed into its additive inverse, which is positive. So after which you are done changing the original sign, then let us proceed to vertical addition. Okay, so when we say vertical addition, we'll be adding x cubed plus negative x cubed, and of course this will gives us a 0. And then we have here a negative 4x squared plus x squared. So of course it will gives us a negative 3x squared. And then after that, we are going to bring down the next term of 4x squared. So that's it. After bringing it down, as what we did in here, as what we did, we divide x cubed by the first term of our divisor. So 3x squared divided by x. So we have to do it this way. Negative 3x squared divided by the x in here. So of course there is a 1 understood. So we have a negative 3. And then there is a 2 and a 1. So negative 3x to the power of 1. So where should we place the negative 3x to the 1? So we will place it in there. So we have to repeat the same process. We distribute the negative 3x to each term of our divisor. So negative 3x times x, it will gives us a negative 3x squared. After which, we are going to multiply the negative 3x to negative 1. And it will gives us a positive 3x. And we will put the 3x in line with the 7x because they are of similar terms. Next is we are going to uh, subtract them. Okay, so when we subtract them, thus we have to change the sign of the subtrahend. So that's it. From negative, it will now change to positive. And from that positive, from this positive, it will change now to negative. Proceed in addition, vertical addition. So how we are going to add them? So that's it. This is already gives us a 0. And the positive 7x and the negative 3x, we subtract them because they have a different sign. So 7x minus 3x is positive 4x. And where did we get the positive? It is the sign of the bigger number. Then you bring down the last term of our dividend, it's negative 4. The same process, repeat the process. The 4x divided by, again, the first term. So 4x divided by x, so we will get a 4. Thus, we have a 4 already there. So 4 times x is 4x, while 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Okay, then change all the signs of the subtrahend to proceed a vertical addition. Thus, 4x and 4x will give us a 0, and the positive and a negative, so we can now subtract them, and it will also give us a 0. So therefore, that is already the way how to find the quotient of a polynomial by binomial using the long division. Okay, so let us have example number 6. Again, we are going to divide a polynomial by binomial. So again, our divisor is still a binomial. But as what I have said, what we are going to see first is to try check if our numerator or our dividend is already written in descending order. So descending order in the sense that their exponents are written uh, from highest to lowest, the exponent of the variables. Okay, so 6x cubed minus 8x plus 4. But you should have to see to it. Another thing that you need to check. Uh, if we have a 3, it should be followed by a 2. But there's no exponent of 2, or in other words, there's no x squared. So there's no x squared, there's no the presence of x squared. We have directly x to the power of 1. So in this case, we are going to replace it by this. So again, we have to rewrite the 6x cubed, and since there's no degree of 2, thus we just have to write it in this way. So remember, this is a 0, and we are not changing the value of our given, because 0 times any number, it will give us a 0. But why we are writing this instead? Because we will be writing a term in line with this as we go through to the process. And then we have already s3, exponent of 3 in the variable x. We have an exponent of 2, and we have an exponent of 1, and then the constant. Then, as what we did, we have to proceed to the step 1 in the division proper. So first term, so our first term is 6x cubed divided by x. Again, first term of the dividend divided by the first term of our divisor. So what is it? So it's just simply 6x cubed divided by x. So of course, 6 divided by 1 is 6. And then x cubed divided by x to the 1 is simply 6x squared. And that's it. The answer is 6x squared. Okay. Then proceed to distribution. 6x squared times x will gives us 6x cubed. And then 6x squared times 2 will gives us positive 12x squared. And see, we were able to put a 0x squared there, because as what I have said a while ago, that there will be term written in line with this. Okay, so let's proceed to the next step. We are going to subtract them. And in subtracting, we need to change the sign of the subtrahend. So the 6x cubed here is originally positive, thus it is now having a negative, while the positive 12x squared, it is now negative 12x squared. Proceed in vertical addition, and this will be already a 0. While in this, remember that our 12x squared has a new sign, negative 12. So we have to carry that negative 12 in here. So the next one is we need to bring down the next term. So we need to bring down the negative 8x. So the same process, we need to divide the 12x squared by x. So like this, negative 12x squared divided by the first term of our divisor. So it will gives us negative 12x. So that's it, negative 12x. And negative 12x times x, and that's it, it's negative 12x squared. And then the negative 12x will be multiplied to 2, and it will gives us negative 24x. Okay, proceed. We have to change the signs. So from negative to positive, from negative to positive, and this will also already gives us a 0. And for this, we have a 24 has a positive while the 8 has negative. Of course, we subtract them. So 24 minus 8, it will give us 16. And why it's positive? Because 24, its absolute value is bigger than 8. So therefore, we have to bring down the next term, which is plus 4. So the same process, repeat process, 16 divided by 16x. 16x, that's 1, divided by the x, of course, it will give us 16. And then 16 times x will give us 16x. And then 16 times 2 will give us positive 32. Okay? Changing the sign of the subtrahend. So vertical addition, this will already gives us a 0, and 32 negative and a positive 4, then subtract, then it will gives us a negative 28. And what is that negative 28? Negative 28 is our remainder. So therefore, How do we know if our answer or if our quotient is correct? Okay, so let us try see. Okay, so for this, since we have already come up with the final step in here, we have a remainder negative 28. So our quotient is as 6x cubed minus 8x plus 4 divided by x plus 2. It will gives us a quotient of 6x squared minus 12x plus 16. And this is how we write the remainder. So a remainder negative 28. So negative 28. So that's understood as our remainder. So negative 28 over x plus 2. How do we know if our quotient is correct? So let us do the checking. And remember, uh, how to find out if our quotient is correct is simply we just get the product of our quotient times our divisor. Our quotient and divisor will be multiplied together, and then if we were able to get a product exactly the same to the quotient to the dividend that we have, then our quotient will be correct. So let us now go to the checking. Okay, our quotient is 6x squared minus 12x plus 16. We multiply it to the divisor. So our divisor is x plus 2. And how do we multiply them? So we simply multiply 2 times 16. It will gives us positive 32. We are done. And 2 will be distributed to negative 12x, and that will gives us negative 24x. We are done multiplying 2 to 16 and to negative 12x. Then the 2 now will be multiplied to 6x squared, and it will gives us negative not negative, it's positive 12x squared. Okay, so we are done with the 2x, with the 2. So we will be distributing the x this time. So x times 16, it will gives us positive 16x. So we were able to align it in the negative 24x because they are similar term. Followed by negative x times negative 12x will gives us negative 12x squared. And then the last there, 6x squared times x will gives us positive 6x cubed. So to find out, so we will be getting if our answer is really going back to the dividend that we have. This is our dividend. So this is our dividend. So let us try bringing it down. Positive 32 and then 20 negative 24x plus 16x will gives us negative 8x. And then that is already cancelled because positive 12x squared and um, negative 12x squared is um 0 already, so no need to write the 0 there. And so far our dividend 6x cubed. Okay, 6x cubed, 6x cubed minus 8x plus 4. And then but we're not able to get a 4 in there. But remember, there is a negative 28 as our remainder. So what shall we do with that remainder negative 28? We simply combine it with a constant positive 32. So to simplify further, the positive 32 plus negative 28 will gives us uh gives us positive 4 rather, because 32 is bigger than 28. So therefore this is already our final answer. uh the 6x squared minus 12x plus 16 is already our correct quotient because we're able to get our dividend. Okay. Okay, so let us have this last example. Okay, so you're given x cubed plus 125 divided by x plus 5. So we have to write it in this way. Uh, Again, first thing to do is to try check uh, if your dividend is already written on its descending order. So far we have an x cube, but we directly go to a constant. So what is lacking there? So if we have an x cube, there should be an x squared and there should be an x to the power of 1. So we lack this degree, x to the power of 2 and x to the power of 1, because we have already the constant. So what is missing? So these two terms are missing. So as we have known that the missing terms or the missing degree should be replaced by a 0 times that literal factor. So therefore, as our given, we have x cubed. The two missing terms are this, the 0x squared and the 0x to the 1, and then the constant. So let us still apply the process that the first term of our dividend, so the first term is x cubed divided by x. So it will gives us x squared. X squared times x is x cubed, and then x squared times 5 is 5x squared. And see, we're able to align them, the 0x squared in the 5x squared. And then proceed in subtraction. So subtracting these polynomials, we need to change the sign of the subtrahends. So therefore, this will already gives us a 0. And then bring down the negative 5x squared. And then you need to bring down the 0x. So 0x. Then the same thing, repeat the process. First term will be divided by the first term. Thus, negative 5x squared, this is negative 5x squared divided by x. So we have negative 5x. So that is why we have a negative 5x. Negative 5x divided by, negative 5x times x will gives us negative 5x squared. And negative 5, okay, that's it. Negative 5x times 5 will gives us negative 25x. Then proceed. Change the sign of the negative 5x squared. It will now positive 5x squared. And it will now positive 25x. So this will gives us a 0. And then the positive 25x will be brought down. And then proceed to writing the constant plus 125. And then 25x divided by x. We have a positive 25. And then positive 25 times x is 25x, while 25 times 5 will gives us 125. So, okay, changing the signs of the subtrahend, proceed in vertical addition, and this is already a 0, and this is already a 0. So therefore, our quotient is x squared minus 5x plus 25. And since it answers 0, so there's no remainder. So again, how do we know if our quotient is correct? So let us try check. So x squared minus 5x plus 25 will be multiplied to x plus 5. So let us have, so 25 times 5 will gives us positive 125. And then followed by the 5 times negative 5x will gives us negative 25x, and the 5 will be multiplied to x squared, and that gives us positive 5x squared. We are done with the 5. Then proceed to x will be distributed now to the three terms. So x times 25 will gives us 25x. Then that will be 5x squared, negative 5x squared, and that's it. X times x squared is x cubed. And for that, we'll now proceed. So bringing down the positive 125, and then this gives us a 0, and then that's it. So we're able to have the remaining terms x cubed plus 125. And these terms are already our dividend. Okay. Uh, Guys, I hope you've learned something from my video today. Although it is quite tedious, dividing polynomial, But I am sure with the process that I have displayed with all the steps and so on, I hope you've learned something. Guys, please continue watching my coming videos and do not forget to subscribe, like, and share for more video updates. This has been Teacher Justina, and God bless us all. Thank you, everyone.